Gruda King with the 49th parallel. How you guys doing today? I just wanted to retell or tell a story that's been reliving on my mind lately. As you all might know from other videos, my father was a gold miner in the 80s, very successful one. And ever since then, when I go out in the woods, you see my videos, I always got a gold pan with me. No matter if it's flooding, no matter if it's snowing, I'll always have a gold pan, because not only can I prospect for gold, but there's also lots of other uses for one. They make great bases for my stove to sit on and hold it straight up. But so that leads me to what I want to talk about today. So I think it was 2010, 2011, I want to say, found out about this one gold mine up near the 49th parallel. Supposed to be really rich, lots of good color, lots of good history. So I, set my mind upon going and checking out this mine, which, by the way, it's taken me 7 or 8 years and many trips to find it and to finally get there, which we did last year. Me and 3 other friends finally made it to this gold mine. Well, it was in August, September of 2010, 2011. Me, good friend of mine, Sergeant Massey, he was a 19th Delta Cavalry Scout based out of Fort Lewis, McChord, and another buddy of mine who lives up in, near Mount Baker, the little yellow Japanese guy. I don't know if he wants me to use his name or not, so I'll leave it undisclosed right now. But so we decided, hey, let's run in here, which come to find out years later that they deemed this area the hellhole. Let's drop down into the hellhole and see, how far we can get. See what the trail, what the conditions, what the terrain is like getting down into this area. So us 3, we set off. It's just gonna be overnighter, summertime, go real light, but the pass we had to go through this is like 5,500 feet, so there's still snow up there. And we all drop down in there, get down, we probably get 4 miles in. We started late. We get 4 miles down, finally reach the drainage area, to the creek, and decide to camp out for the night because it was late. Wake up the next morning and keep on going. So all 3 of us, we wake up, get dressed, get moving. Lunchtime comes around. We're at the confluence of where one creek meets the other creek, the main body of the creek, and decide to have lunch. So we sit down and we got, Talk has his Belgian Malinois Rusty and a pup. I had my Belgian Malinois pup. Massey had his Belgian Malinois pup. And then I think we had another one also of somebody's that we were training. So we stop and have lunch, eating lunch, and you can just see that Massey's flesh color was off. And he just wasn't doing really well. He was moving a little sluggish. Totally tell his morale was down. Something was going on. So after lunch, which, by the way, we ate Mountain House like we always do, he instantly just purged it back up. Drinking water, purging it up. Just every time he put something in his stomach, he would vomit it out. Man, what's wrong, Massey? You don't looking too right. You're not eating real good. What's going on? And he don't know. We're talking about a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. He's like, I don't know what's going on with my body, but something's not right. So You know, I ask him, hey, do you want to keep on pushing forward, or should we turn around and head back? So Massey is like, dude, I think we should really turn around and head back. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's head back. And heading back up this hill, oh my goodness, I've seen destroy quite a few people. This area, on trips that I've been on, I've had quite a few people almost die. It's that gnarly. You're coming up 4 miles straight up. It's got a trail for the most part. Hasn't been freaking cleared in years. Tons of windfall, big old growth windfall. But you're 4 miles straight up this hill, gaining elevation from, I think it's 1,700 feet all the way to 5,500 feet in 4 miles of some steep trail. And it's, you know, August, so it's pretty hot during the daytime. So we're trucking up. Massey's condition is getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Trying to keep water in him, trying to get energy in him, but every time it was a downhill. Now it's, you know, in my mind it clicks. It's like, okay, you know, this is a trip of attrition. We just got to get this guy out of here, and it's going to take everything to do it. So we finally come up to the section of trail where the year previous there was a good avalanche slide, and it blew out part of the trail, which coming down you could find it really easy, switching through all the tag alder and the slash. But when we were coming back up and we got into that thicket, I mean, it was thick, we got turned around and lost the trail and didn't know where we were at. Massey's condition is at 15%. Juice left, that's all he has. So Talk's freaking out, you know, we're lost. Me personally, I never feel lost, because my dad taught me, as long as you're on planet Earth, you're not lost. When you're only really lost when you're out in space. You're lost out there, but here on Earth, you're not lost. You're on Earth, you know, don't think that you're lost. Well, we didn't know where we were. I knew the trail was within 500 yards of us. I knew we couldn't be that far away because we didn't walk that much off of the trail in that thicket. Yeah, did I know exactly where we were at? To 100 feet? No, but I knew we were close. So I ended up taking out my map, taking out my compass, going back to the basics, doing a triangulation off the 2 peaks that I could see, to give me or myself a pretty good idea of where we're at. Well, Massey's deteriorating quite bad, and I tell Talk, I was like, hey, we need to split up. I'll go this way to find the trail, you go that way to find the trail. Massey will sit here, we'll flag our way to the trail, and once we find it, we'll come back and we'll get him, because he can't waste any energy at all. We have to maintain as much of his energy specific to getting out of here as possible. Talk did not like that idea. I'm not splitting up, we're not splitting up, that's the worst thing to do, and we actually got into a pretty bad fight where we were either going to stab or shoot each other. Because he was that adamant on not leaving. Massey's laying on the ground, in and out of awareness, consciousness. And finally Massey, realizing how heated it's getting between me and Talk, you know, because Talk wasn't friends with Massey, he didn't know him that well, whereas I did. So in Talk's mind, his loyalty was more towards me and our bond than Massey. And it was kind of a hard place for me because my loyalty was to both of them because they're both my really good friends. So finally Massey just stands up and he's like, fuck it, let's all go, I'm following Bud. That's what all my friends call me. I've been called that ever since I was a little kid, Bud. So now you guys all know, not my real name, but the name I go by, besides Garuda King. So I'm like, okay, I bet the trail's, you know, a few hundred yards this way, that's the way I'm going. Talk kind of drifted off another way, but me and Massey ended up finding the trail first. So we're back on the trail, and there's a road that comes down here that these gold miners use on this other mine. You know, even when we were lost, I knew that we were within, you know, a couple thousand feet of the road and less towards the trail. So we find the trail, shout to talk, got the trail, follow our voices. He gets on the trail. We walk, you know, another 1,000 feet up the trail, hit the mining road, and Massey just falls out straight on his face. Boom. And we're carrying a 3-day rucksack with, you know, 2 or 3 days worth of provisions in it. And he just falls straight on his face. Bam. We didn't take sleeping bags. All I think I had was a sleeping pad. And that was it. So he falls right on his face, and I tell Talk, I'm like, go. You have to get to cell phone signal and call 911. Get search and rescue up here. Get somebody up here. So he takes off. Me and Massey stays there. This is probably about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. Not terribly cold, still light out. And Massey is just so deteriorated. Just completely deteriorated. So Talk leaves. I stay there. I pull out the sleeping pads, lay him down on it. I'm trying to make needle tea to get him some vitamin C and some water in him. And it's starting to get cold. The sun's dropping. I have no way to communicate with Talk. Completely away from cell phone service. And my buddy's dying. I mean, he's dying, literally. He's telling me he's dying. He's in and out of consciousness. He don't know where he's at. He don't know who I am sometimes. At one point, he thought he was in the middle of I-5 and people were trying to run him over. You know, I'm threatening to kill him if he tries to fall asleep, because I knew if he fell asleep, that was it. Like, tell him, Massey, you can't fall asleep. If you fall asleep or start to fall asleep, I'm going to stab you, bro. I was like, I will stab you to keep you awake. You have to stay awake. You have to stay awake. Well, it's getting colder. It's getting darker. The winds are picking up. Got a fire going. There's no miners coming. It's getting later and later and later. Finally, it's pitch dark. He's in and out of consciousness. I'm trying to keep him awake, trying to keep him warm. 1 minute he's burning up. The next minute he's freezing cold. I never have dealt with that, so I really didn't know what was going on with him. I knew it wasn't heat stroke. I knew it wasn't dehydration that bad. I knew he was dehydrated because he hasn't been taking any water and he's been expelling and sweating like all hell. So I knew it was sort of dehydration. So it's late. You know, he's having his moment of reconciliation with himself and his life, and in his mind and my mind, my buddy's about to die. He's about to die. This is his last trip, his last mission, and he's got kids. He don't want to go out this way. So we're sitting there. I'm telling him, like, Talk's gonna get he's gonna get cell phone signal. He's gonna call. They're gonna come. They'll send the helicopter, bro. You're 19 Delta. You're U.S. Army. They're not gonna let one of their brothers out here to die on a freaking mountain without trying. But the winds were heavily strong that night, which, come to find out later on, they couldn't send the bird because of the high winds. So we're laying there. It's dark. It must have been, I don't know, 11 o'clock. And up along the horizon, I see this light, this bright light. And it was a crystal clear night. You can see all the stars in Milky Way. It was beautiful. It would have been a great night if it wasn't for the fact that my buddy was sitting here on the side of the mountain dying from something I had no idea what was going on with him. And I wake him up. I'm like, Massey, 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 I told you, look, here comes the bird, look at the light. And he's straining and looking, and he sees it, and you can just see the life. You can just see the color starting to come back into his face. You can just hear it, the life coming back into his voice. The energy. It's like, I'm going to be saved. I'm saved. I'm not going to die on this mountain. And it's coming, but we start to realize that it's not coming on a trajectory through the sky like a normal plane or helicopter would. It's coming across the sky at an arc. And even though it's getting closer, it's still staying the same distance away. And instantly it popped in my mind, that's the International Space Station. And I look at Massey and I tell him, I'm like, dude, that's not the helicopter, bro. That's the ISS. I'm so sorry. And that was it. And he says, that's it, I'm dead. I'm done. He's like, I can't wait any longer. He's like, I'm done. Well, about 1.5 miles up the Miners Trail is this cabin that this one guy who's a big backcountry skier, snowboarder, actually knows the miners, and he came up with a proposal to build this backcountry ski shack on their gold mine, which during the winter time when they're not gold mining, he can use it to backcountry ski, and then during the summertime when he's not skiing, the gold miners could use it to live in while they're there mining gold. Win-win situation. Perfect. It's all padlocked up. It's on, 10-foot piers because of the snow, and it's, a 2-story building, but it only has lofts up in the upper deal. Big front door, dead bolted and whatnot. So I'm like, no, you're not gonna die here, bro. I picked him up, his pack, my pack, and we had our dogs with us. Talk took his dog and the other 2 dogs he had with him, and then my dog Goldie and his dog Loki, they stay with us. So I'm, dragging the 2 dogs, him, both of our packs, all of our gear, 1.5 miles up, 65% grade. I mean, we're talking some super steep grade, up this freaking hill to this miner's shack. Get them to the miner's shack. It's all locked up. There's only one little window. I mean, it's I think it was like a 16 by 2 foot window, and it was a slider window. And it's 20 feet off the ground. Well, I tried to break through the doorknob through the deadbolt because I had to get them in here. I knew that there was propane in there. I knew there was supplies. I knew there was things in there that would help sustain my buddy long enough until search and rescue got there, because they would show up. Well, I can't get through the door. I'm beating on it with a rock hammer. I'm doing everything I can. There's no way to, because it's the bottom of the door is 15 feet off the ground as it is. So I can't do anything to get into this door. So I realized the only other way is through the window, which is, 25 feet above the door, where I'm standing. So luckily they had a extension ladder underneath the building that was padlocked and cabled to one of the piers, concrete piers. So I ended up having to use Massey's gun, try to shoot through the padlock. Didn't blow. I shot this thing to shit. Master padlocks are badass. Shot that thing to shit. Still wouldn't break that lock loose. I ended up having to put the cable against a piece of board and put the gun barrel right on the cable and just blast through the cable until I could get that loose. Got that loose, put the extension ladder up, went up the freaking window, broke into the freaking window, through the window with a hammer, and then I had to slide in there head first. And then when I fell, because it's 15 feet down to the inside of the cabin, I had to go head first, tuck and roll, land on my feet inside the cabin to be able to get the door unlocked and him in it. Got Massey inside, got him in a sleeping bag that was in there. Like I said, we didn't have sleeping bags because it was cold. Temperature was dropping down. There was snow. There's probably still like 5 feet of snow plus in places. Getting water in them, snacks, food, get them in there. Sleeping bag helped. Lay down. I need to rest. I'm wore out. I'm exhausted myself. Laying there, all of a sudden in the background, start hearing a faint whistle. Knew it was search and rescue. So I run out, meet them. They come back, trying to get a chopper in there. The medic ended up determining that he had hyponatremia, was in an extreme state of hyponatremia. Couldn't get a helicopter in there because of the high winds, so they ended up having to medevac him out on a cart by hand to the truck to get down to the hill to the ambulance back to the hospital. Needless to say, he made it. But something did change about him from that instant. Don't know what it was, but our bond, which I thought would be stronger. You know, I could have left him out there. I mean, people do leave people out there and say, my life's not worth it, you know? But I didn't. I was like, no. No, it's my brother. He freaking came out here with me. It's my duty to make sure he makes it back home to his children. And that, you would think, would make people come together stronger. But for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I saw him break down and lose it in his moment of reconciling with accepting death, or what it was, but our bond isn't as it was. We used to be thick as thieves, doing everything, going out and search and rescue missions with people, for missing people, you know, always coming up every weekend, having fun, 4th of July, biggest bashes, barbecues, you know, good old fun. Now, it's like, I can't even get a reply on a text message. I don't know what I can do, you know, to be able to mend that bond, to be able to strengthen that bond with them. But it's something that, you know, bugs me every day, because I love the dude, you know. He's my brother. I mean, you know, we've been born brothers, you know, for thousands of lifetimes, and, you know, I'd do anything for him. Put my life on the line for him, you know. And just wish he knew, and I hope you know, Massey, man, that, you know, whatever happened out there, whatever you dealt with, I didn't judge you. Never judge you, man. You know, we all deal with death and our coming of death, how we deal with it, you know? And we could think one way that, oh yeah, I'll take it standing up, and, you know, like my father, when he passed, he told me before he passed, he's like, hey, if it gets too bad, you know, where I can't take it anymore, I'm just going to take a whole bunch of my morphine and OD and die. You know, and he asked me straight up, he's like, hey, if I get to the point where I can't physically administer that to myself, you need to make sure that it happens. You know, out of all the kids, he asked me to make sure that, you know, when it come down to it towards his end, where it was just way too much to bear, if I would take on, you know, that position of helping my father move on to another life. And I told him yes, just like growing up all the time. He's like, I want to be cremated. I want to be cremated. I don't want to be worm food in the ground. And then and so I always like knew, you know, when my dad come to die, how I was going to cremate him. And I was going to build, you know, this huge pyre. I mean, I wanted to build, like, you know, cut down 40-foot trees and build, you know, like they did to the kings of old, because that's how I view my father, is as a king. You know, I wanted to build a huge pyre, spend all my energy in a huge pyre to send my father off. And then when it came down to finally him accepting, yeah, I'm going to die soon, he wanted a casket to be buried in the ground. It's like, whoa, how did you go from wanting to be burnt and not be fish food, not have a body left for worms to eat or for your spirit to be attached to? How did it go from there, all my life growing up, you saying you wanted to be done that way, and then now it comes down to it, you want to be put in a box in the ground? Okay, if that's your wish, we're going to make it happen. And we did. You know, and that was a struggle in itself. I wanted to dig my father's grave by hand. I really did. And granted, down in Arkansas, it's hard clay, it's hard earth. I knew it would be a challenge. I knew we'd spend a day, all night, 20 hours or more. You know, but I got 7, 8 siblings. You know, there's 8 of us kids. But I knew with all 8 of us and all the other, you know, my nieces and nephews and my brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, I was like, I knew that if we got out there and dug this thing by hand, we'd be able to do it for when it came to bury my father. But everybody voted against it. But that was one thing I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do. So we all, you know, don't know how we're going to respond to death when he comes for us. And it doesn't matter. That's a moment that we can't predict how it's going to take place, and we can't judge how it takes place. And back to Massey and his acceptance of it and his moment of going through that. And accepting that that was what was going to happen to him. And the only thing I can surmise is that, yeah, me being involved in that somehow, you know, harmed our bond, harmed our relationship, and I want to amend it. I don't know what I can do to let him know that, hey, you know, I love you, I'm still there for you, and I'd do it all over again. I'd never leave you in the backcountry, you know. I don't know if he felt that, you know, it was my fault that he got put in that because I'm the one that asked him to go along on the trip. I don't know. But, so in the end, you know, we still communicate, we still talk occasionally. Not like we used to. We're not bros like we used to be. But yeah, he suffered from a serious case of hypernatremia. Almost died. Some of my friends that knew him, you know, still kind of consider that Massey died, you know, because he didn't come back the same guy that he was. So that was just a little story of something I've dealt with, and that's not the only one. You know, I've had lots of people in the backcountry down at Salicia Creek, coming up out of there, you know, bit off more than they could chew, got more weight on than what they thought they could carry, and then all of a sudden, good times turn bad in a heartbeat. And I've carried not only my like 50-pound ruck out, but carried Edgar's and Joe Gonzalez's pack out on my front. So not only carrying my pack out of there, but carrying their pack along with mine, just to make sure that they made it out. And man, I wish I'd had GoPros for all of those instances. Got some pictures of it, and I'll either make a little video of the pictures and post, or add them in here or whatnot. But you never know when you're out in the backcountry. You know, like I said, this guy was 19 Delta, U.S. Army, badass dude, you know, and then all of a sudden one day, you know, having a good old time, and then your body just says, nope, I'm playing by my own rules, and I'm not gonna operate how you expected me to operate. So you never know. So because of that, I'm gonna start doing these vlogs of my experiences, because I never know. You know, I could be walking around right now, and a limb fall out of the tree, and Widowmaker me, and bam, I'm dead. So I want to have these little video recordings for my friends and family and my children. So when my time does come, there is something that they can watch about me, to be able to hear my first-hand account of experiences I've been through. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe if you want. Look for more coming out this year, especially real soon. It's the winter time. I'm a carpenter, so I'm laid off right now. So I got plenty of time to make videos and get out there and do some cool bushcraft stuff and whatnot. So like, subscribe, and catch you next time. Thanks for watching.